The Bermuda Triangle may be the most famous vortex of mystery and death in the world, but it's not the only one. The Great Lakes Triangle, right here in the United States, has been almost as deadly. Hundreds of people have vanished in an area which many believe is a gateway to oblivion. There is a force that has survived from folklore to scientific fact. Bizarre anomalies that rival the Bermuda Triangle. A ship, the Edmund Fitzgerald, built to withstand the most violent weather, sinks in less than a minute. A modern jet airliner crashes into Lake Michigan in clear weather. These are only two of the thousands of shipwrecks and plane crashes that have plagued the Great Lakes since earliest recorded history. The most dangerous zone is known as the Marsburg Vortex in Lake Ontario, but disappearances routinely occur throughout a larger area known as the Great Lakes Triangle. Marine insurance records show that more than 15,000 shipwrecks, plane crashes, and other mysterious catastrophes over the past 200 years have given the Great Lakes Triangle a deadly reputation, with the highest concentration of unexplained accidents in the world.
With Marysburg, what you get is exactly the same type of things. You're getting down in around the Bermuda Triangle, disappearing people, disappearing ships and that.
We have found that there is at least one major link between all these crashes and disappearances. The ever-present magnetic fields which wrap the Earth appear to act differently in the Great Lakes Triangle. A compass reading on one day can be totally different the next, making critical navigational systems inoperative.
We found, even using 3 separate compasses, all the readings being very much similar, that when we plotted that on a chart, we were nowhere near. One case, we were a quarter of a mile onshore, and yet we're 5 miles physically on the boat offshore.
Peculiar magnetic forces can spell disaster for a ship or a plane that relies on exact instrument readings. Could strange magnetic forces in the Great Lakes Triangle be enough to throw ships and planes wildly off course and into fatal situations? Some believe that's exactly what caused the 729-foot Edmund Fitzgerald to sink to the bottom of Lake Superior. This state-of-the-art vessel had 2 independent radar systems thought to be infallible, but they weren't. En route to Cleveland, Ohio, disaster struck. November 10th, 1975, 5 p.m. The Edmund Fitzgerald is fully loaded with iron ore and leaves port. By 6 p.m., the ship is unexpectedly caught in the grips of a severe winter storm. Just after 7 p.m., the Edmund Fitzgerald, a highly sophisticated modern freighter, has disappeared, with all hands feared lost. The weather was harsh, but the Edmund Fitzgerald was designed to withstand storms like this. The beginning of the end occurred when not one, but both radar systems failed. With low visibility and no working navigational system, the ship was doomed.
I do know that they had lost their radar, and they were depending on the Anderson, which was a ship nearby in the storm. The Anderson was doing their seeing for them. It was trying to get the fix on the Fitzgerald with radar and then radio to the Fitz and tell them where they were. 1 minute, they had a blip on the radar, and the next minute, the blip was gone.
They were in communication with the Fitzgerald at 10 minutes after 7. At 20 minutes after 7, they had no sight of her at all. And given that 10-minute span and the fact that no distress call was ever sent by the Fitzgerald, that ship going down must have happened no more than a minute. It just dove, went down, and that was the end of it.
So I understand you had him visually and on the radar, and you lost him in both respects. No, I didn't have him visually. I had him on the radar. He was exactly 10 miles ahead of us. I asked him how he was making out with his problem. He said he lost those vents and he had a lift, and he said he was holding his own. I lost contact after that.
In less than 1 minute, the enormous ship had disappeared. All hands on board died. It was a tragic testimony to the power of a deadly force still feared by all who dare venture there.
I think in a lot of people's mind, there is something missing. There's one little fact or something that went wrong or something that happened that maybe we'll never know about. Something mysterious, something unexplained.
United Flight 389, inbound from New York to Chicago in 1965. Although flying in clear skies and calm weather, it would suffer the same fate as the Edmund Fitzgerald.
The approach was over Lake Michigan. The last altitude that they were cleared to, in which he was supposed to have leveled off and maintained that altitude until cleared lower, was 6,000 feet.
But Flight 389 did not level off at 6,000 feet.
The aircraft struck the water in a descending attitude. It spread over about 1.6 miles, and it sank in about 250 feet of water. We know there was no mid-air collision. We know there was no structural failure. We know the engines were operating properly. Everything appeared to be normal up until the aircraft disappeared.
Unpredictable magnetic energies that ripple through the entire 100,000 square mile area of the Great Lakes may explain what happened.
Now, what you're dealing with is something that's transient. It happens suddenly and it's gone. You haven't got any actual scientific measurements. What we know is that there's actually magnetic anomalies in the area. How they could cause these mysterious disappearances, how they could cause the sinking, no one seems to know.
Magnetic forces that can kill. Do they exist in the Great Lakes Triangle? Researchers continue to study the bizarre quirk of nature that has taken so many lives. In the past year alone, nearly 35 boats and planes have vanished without a trace.